Sharky came at Washington because of my celebration. Because I was always doing this during, after a sack, like a little shark fin, and so everybody's like just started calling me Sharky, Sharky, and that kind of stuck at Washington.
Welcome to Double Major, the newest Canadian college football show. I'm your host, Alex McComb. My guest today is a defensive lineman from Toronto who grinded his way through the JUCO route for 2 years before getting to D1, eventually making his way to Washington in 2024, and then transferring to a deep Texas Tech front earlier this year. Bryce Butler is with me today. Bryce, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Something I like to ask a lot of my guests is to take me back to the beginning in the GTA. What's your first real memory of falling in love with football?
First real memory, I would say I played for something called MIFA. It's like the Mississauga Indoor Football League or Association. And I think I started when I was 6 years old because I was so big. They just put me up to play with the 7-year-olds in Adams. So that was probably like my very first memory of football. That was like a winter league thing, and it was just fun. I was playing every position you could imagine, and yeah.
What was it like moving from Toronto to a prep school in Connecticut? What prompted that move?
Honestly, I knew, I wanted to shoot for the stars. Not to take away from Canadian college sports or anything. I think that's so great. But I just wanted to shoot for the stars, and I felt like my best opportunity to get to the NFL would be in the States. So, yeah.
You said in the spring that you were under-recruited coming out of high school. Looking back, what do you think recruiters missed?
An opportunity to give me an opportunity. I mean, I feel like I was very dominant in high school, especially we played teams like IMG, St. Francis, all the top teams. And yeah, I feel like they missed out on me. I had a couple like small D1 schools hit me up, but nobody really, paid attention to me. I had dudes on my team that were 4-star, 5 stars, and they're kind of getting all the attention. I mean, that's good for them, but I feel like I was also deserving of an opportunity out of high school, but God works how God works. So I'm just happy to be here.
And you are among many of the young players Justin Dillon at 730 Scouting has put under his wing in terms of connecting you to different opportunities. Elad Manor, Sydney and Chase Brown, Joshua Palmer are all names he's dealt with. I talked to him about a year ago. He told me to look out for you for the 2025 season. He was right. Tell me about your relationship with him and how that's evolved over the years and how that support or what that support has meant to you.
Yeah, man, Justin's a great guy. He was the first one. So when I had played my freshman year of high school, I was at St. Marcellinus, which was a good school for football in Canada, in the Mississauga region. And I remember he was at one of my Friday night light games, and he was sitting beside my dad, and he tells my dad, he's like, yeah, Bryce doesn't need to be playing here. You need to get him to the States, because I guess he could just see it. So, over the years, man, he's helped me out a lot. He helped me get to STM. He has connections at a bunch of great schools for Canadians. And, man, shout out to Justin. He's a real one.
Walk me through arriving at Garden City Community College, which folks up here in Canada may recognize as one of the schools seen in the since canceled Netflix show Last Chance U, when Independence College was featured in seasons 3 and 4. What was that time like for you in Kansas in your 2 years there, especially at the beginning?
It was great. I mean, like when I first got there, I was like, dang, like this is just like Last Chance U. It's no joke. Like, it's going to be a grind. And I'm in my first semester there. I was like, because although I was in Connecticut, I was already away from home for high school. When I had first got to Garden, I was like, okay, now I'm really far from home, in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, And it's like, I don't really got nobody but me. And so my first semester, I feel like I was a bit flustered and just getting distracted and stuff. And then I remember I just was like, man, I got towards the end of the year and I spoke to my coach and he's like, man, you're so talented. Don't let this opportunity go to waste. And so that's like, after that first semester, that's when I kind of like flipped the switch. I was like, all right, let me make the most out of this opportunity. There wasn't a lot of resources or anything there, but there was just a chance and there was people scouting. And so I was like, man, I gotta get this. So yeah, it was a big eye opener for me just to see, because JUCO is different. You got your people who really want it, and then you got your people who are just there as like a last resort, who are like, man, maybe, but the people who really want it, they'll make it out of JUCO 100%.
One of your teammates during your first year at Garden City was Jett, who is also from the GTA after he transferred from Ohio. Did you guys know each other before then?
Yeah, just like family friend. That's family. That's like my cousin, Jett, Peter. So it was good that both years at Garden City, I had them with me. I actually was the one who told Jett. He was stuck in, I remember back then there was like a transfer rule. And so he was stuck in like a little scenario. And I said, man, just why don't you come to JUCO and we could do this together. And then that's what ended up happening. He listened to me, he came, and then, yeah, he made it out.
And you've talked about dropping from around 300 to 255 pounds between your 2 years there. What drove
Yeah.
that transformation physically and mentally?
So I remember going into spring ball for the second year. We had we had our edge. He had left to go to Buffalo. And my coach was like, I might need you to play edge this year. I don't know we're going to have anybody that could start on the edge. And I was like, man, I'm up for it. So I decided to drop down to like 250, 255 and play edge. And yeah, honestly, it was fun. It was fun to just switch it up. I mean, the first year I dominated at nose, 3-tech. So I was like, let me see what I could do on the edge. And felt like I was pretty successful there as well. So it was beneficial for me as well to showcase my abilities to play the whole D-line.
And you also mentioned there were times you were barely eating in JUCO. What did a normal day look like for you during that stretch?
It was difficult to say, man. Sometimes, like, so the thing about JUCO, they would have like, and not to complain or anything. I don't like people that complain. I'm not trying to complain, but the food there, man, was like, yo, like you would eat the food and genuinely get sick sometimes. Like your stomach would be upset. So it was times where I was like, I think that whole time when I was dropping from 300 to 250, I was eating like one sandwich a day and just drinking plenty of water, drinking protein, and yeah, that was about it.
Do you remember any specific moments in JUCO where you felt like the tide was finally turning for you?
Um, Honestly, it was after my first season in JUCO. I like completely dominated, and I started getting recognized by schools, like smaller D1 schools started hitting me up. Got a bunch of like G5 schools hitting me up. So I was like, man, I think, starting to come. And then halfway throughout my second season is when like the bigger offers started rolling in, like the Mississippi States and USFs and the Arizonas. And so that's when I was like, okay, now I'm set.
And when Jedd Fish left Arizona for Washington, what went into your decision to follow him rather than stay put in Arizona, where I believe you had originally committed to out of JUCO?
Honestly, it was just the fact that I had committed to Coach Kaufusi. I feel like I met a bunch of great coaches, but I know Coach Kaufusi's his resume was really good, and just the way me and him connected personally, he believed in me. He kind of like took me under his wing already and was like talking to me throughout that whole period. And he was like, man, like we're not going to be at Arizona no more, but I'd be more than happy to take you at Washington. And I was like, you know, I didn't want to stay at Arizona with a coaching staff I didn't know at all. And I thought it would be cool to play in the Big Ten as well. So, yeah.
You redshirted your first year at Washington and only played sparingly. How did you handle that test of patience?
Um, it wasn't necessarily like a decision to redshirt between me and the coaches. I had some family issues going on. So it was kind of just like something that had to happen. Um, my very first game at Washington, I had a great game, dominated, and I was excited for the year. And then something came up family wise, and it was like, of great importance. So I just knew I had to go handle that. And yeah, man, honestly, it hurt because you work so hard during the off season, and you look forward to the season. You play the first game, and then something comes up. And it's like, man, everything I worked for, is that gone to waste? But I tried not to look at it like that and just, what's next? Have my mindset on what's next, and just be patient, wait for my opportunity. And so I played, I think, like 3 more games that season, got limited snaps, but I just did what I could with those snaps. And then, yeah, man, just worked hard for that second season at Washington.
Your 2025 season saw a real jump, multiple tackle games against Ohio State, Michigan, Rutgers, Wisconsin, a career high 5 tackles against Oregon. What really changed for you from a development lens last season?
Um, I think it was just confidence. I personally felt and knew that I was the best D tackle in that room. And I just wanted to showcase it. Me and my boys, my D line at Washington, we worked so hard that off season, and I just wanted to do it for them, do it for the people that my family, everybody that was like, man, okay, now it's Bryce's year. He's playing this year, so what can he do? So it was just like I had a whole nother level of confidence going into the season, and yeah.
I believe your first career D1 sack came against Rutgers last season, and your second was a 3rd down stop against UCLA that set up a touchdown drive. What do you remember from those moments? Were they special to you, knowing your path to get there?
Uh, I mean, not necessarily, man. When you're in the game, it's like I'm just going 100 every time. I don't want my eyes to get too big for the moment, because a lot of people get that opportunity and end up missing the sack or something. So I didn't necessarily have anything going into that play. I just knew, let me just dominate the person in front of me and see where it goes from there.
And what was the transfer portal process like for you this time around compared to your JUCO to FBS jump?
It was pretty hectic. I mean, I talked to damn near every school in the country. But what I was really looking for was like an opportunity, like a good opportunity. And I felt like Texas Tech was that. I mean, I feel like we're going to be able to go back to the Big 12 championship, win that, go back to the playoffs with an even more hungry team than last year. So I want to win, and I want to set myself up for success, and I want to help the program. Coach McGuire, he's the best, man. Coach McGuire is a great dude. He makes you feel welcome here, and it only drives you. Like, everybody's bought in, coaching staff, players, like everybody wants the same thing. So that's what I really appreciate about the culture here. Yeah.
Was there anything specific that really sold you on Texas Tech over all the other options?
Like I said, just the coaching staff. Like, I spoke to a bunch of different coaches, but no staff really made me feel like as wanted as Texas Tech. Like, after the first visit, the way I connected with Coach McGuire and the way he told me what he has in plan for me, that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I was looking for in the portal, was somewhere where I'm gonna be able to get the most out of my last year. And I felt like this was a good opportunity. I feel like I'll be able to dominate in this conference and really set myself up for success going into the draft.
You're now in an interior D-line unit that includes A.J. Holmes and Mateen Ibiroba. What's the chemistry been like building that group this offseason?
It's been great. One like-minded unit. We're all working hungry. I don't think we'll miss a beat in terms of rotation or anything. I think it'll be a great season for us.
You've said improving your pass rush is a top priority heading into 2026. What specifically are you working on technique-wise?
Mostly just I feel like my best move was my bull rush, but kind of just expanding my my skill set. So being able to change it up, will help me get to the quarterback a lot quicker. And then just that first step, that's always something to work on. So, yeah.
Expanding the toolkit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
National outlets have Texas Tech's defensive front ranked in the top 10 in the country this year. How much does that external hype register in the D-line room?
It doesn't mean anything. It does everything else, that's just noise. We're just hungry. We just want to win. We just want to, put on for each other and help feed each other. And that's what's really important is what's in the room. All the noise is great. All the accolades people receive, that's great. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to, what are you going to do when you're on the field? So, yeah.
And tell me about the standard Coach McGuire and new D-line coach Albury have set for this group.
The highest standard. The highest. Coach Albury, he's a perfectionist. And, he preaches a lot of good things to us. And I think we all want to make him proud and, make ourselves proud for how hard we've been working. So, man, the standard is perfection. And that's what we aim to achieve.
Getting into some of the more fun stuff, where do the nicknames Breezo and Sharky come from?
Breezo came from when I was really young. I was playing basketball, like pickup basketball, and at the community center, and people would call me C Breezy, like Chris Breezy. And then over time, it just became Breezo, Breeze. And yeah, that's how that came about. Sharky came at Washington because of my celebration, because I was always doing this after a sack, like a little shark fin. And so everybody's like, just started calling me Sharky, and that kind of stuck at Washington. Yeah.
Similar to newer Gatkuth, another Canadian who played at Wake Forest last season. I believe is with the Blue Bombers now, and he used to do the shark fin as well.
Yeah.
You're a car guy and an F1 fan. What got you into that, and who's your driver?
My driver's always been Leclerc. He's just funny. Like, I just watching his races, watching his clips of him talking to his team. I just think it's funny. And obviously he's a great racer. But what really got me into cars was I've always loved cars. I've always been a fan of cars. But once I got to Washington and I got my first car, it was a Genesis G70. It was just like a thrill, like just having a nice car. I wanted to work on it, tune it. And then once I got here, I got my BMW M3 and, did the same with that. And so that's kind of like, it just turned into a passion over time. And then I got like involved with the car community in Seattle, going to Cars and Coffee with teammates. And yeah, that's just kind of what built my love even more.
Ndamukong Suh was a childhood favorite of yours. What is it about his game that stuck with you?
He's just relentless. Like I remember like watching that game with him against Texas, and he damn near beat the team by himself. And that's something I aspire to do. Like just be that dominant on the field, like a force to be reckoned. You know what I mean? Ndamukong Suh easily one of, if not the most dominant D tackles to ever play the game. So that's just pretty much it. Yeah.
Do you listen to his podcast at all?
Not so much recently. I mean, we've just been so busy. When I do have free time, I like to just chill, you know, watching a movie, or I'm busy getting extra work. So not so much. I know me and my dad have talked about some of the clips from it and stuff, and he drops a lot of gems in there. So I definitely would pick it up when I got some more free time.
Yeah, his podcast is one of my favorites whenever I'm on the rowing machine and I just need something to listen to for like half an hour or 45 minutes. And yeah, I grew up a Packers fan, so my relationship changed with him
yeah.
after he retired.
Yeah.
Um,
I know him and A-Rod has some beef.
yeah. Toronto guy playing in front of 60,000 plus in the Big 12. What's the biggest adjustment culturally in West Texas compared to in the GTA?
Just the love of the game. Here they eat, sleep, breathe football, man. They just really love the game. It's like they just want it more. You know, you don't want to let these people down. Everybody, especially in Lubbock, it's such a small town. Like all eyes are on you. So you know what I mean. It's just you know, you don't want to let people down. You want to show people what you're capable of. So yeah.
You're not the only international import on that Texas Tech roster. Running back Loic Tshibangu is originally from Brussels, Belgium, and punter Will Karoll is from Mosman, New South Wales, Australia. Have you had a chance to swap stories with either of those guys since arriving in Lubbock?
Yeah, I mean, not too deep. We talk. We're all, you know, we sit close to each other in the locker room, so we talk. We definitely have our conversations. I don't think we really got too deep into our stories about how we ended up here, but I know they both kind of had similar programs as to like Football North, where you know they're exposed to football in the States and have recruits from the States come up there and stuff. So yeah.
What do you want people back home in Toronto to know about the road it took to get here?
It was tough. It was tough and it was long and it took a lot of sacrifice. But it's possible. You know, especially for the younger generation. I know I can't speak for everywhere else in Toronto, the GTA, but I feel like football is kind of dying in the GTA. I know a lot of programs, like for example, St. Marcellinus have closed down their football programs, and it's sad, man, because you know there's so much talent, and you know I know the GTA is it's in a weird place right now in terms of like the youth. I feel like you know the influence on the youth right now isn't the greatest. And yeah, man, I feel like stuff like football would would help with that. So I don't understand why schools are shutting down their programs, you know, things like that, because then it gives kids more time, and with more time, it gives kids, you know, more time to make not so good decisions. So it's sad to see, but I feel like you know my story could definitely be an impact on some kid, whether it's you know one, whether it's a handful, whether it's a bunch of them. I just hope you know kids could see that, and not just me. A bunch of other Canadians are D1. A bunch of other Canadians are doing it. So I hope that they're able to look up to us and realize, okay, you know, I don't have to be stuck here. I don't have to, you know, follow the negative influences in my life when I could, you know, potentially play a sport at the highest level or something like that.
And to finish off here, what does success look like for you individually and as a team by the end of this season?
Success individually, just getting my draft stock up, just doing the best I can, leaving it all on the field. I want to, after every game, I want to be able to come back in the locker room and not have any second thoughts I just want to be able to, leave it all on the field every single game. And yeah, set myself up to get drafted. And in terms of the team, it's just winning, man. 1 week at a time. What's next? And just pushing forward.
All right. Thank you so much, Bryce, for your time today, and good luck in Lubbock this season.
Appreciate you. Thanks.
If you enjoyed this episode of Double Major, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and following on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you don't miss out on the people and stories behind Canadian college football. Follow along on Instagram and TikTok at Double Major CFB, as well as my personal account at Alex McComb on X and Instagram for clips and updates from every show. Keep your grades up and your pads down. Class is dismissed. We'll see you next time.